Hello everyone. As your teacher, I'm going to guide you through one of the toughest parts of the UCAT, the verbal reasoning section. My goal here is to give you a solid system, a clear plan, so you can walk into that exam and master any question they throw at you.
Welcome to EduRev. Let's get right into it and break down verbal reasoning so you feel completely in control on exam day.
I get it. You look at the VR section, and it just feels like this endless stream of different question types, right? And that confusion, well, it can really eat up the clock. But trust me, there's a logic behind the madness, and I'm going to give you a system to handle every single question with confidence.
I want you to think of this session as us building your personal toolkit. We're going to stock it with some really sharp, effective strategies that are going to make you not just more accurate, but a whole lot faster.
So here's our game plan. First, we'll cover the basic logic. Then we'll tackle the questions you'll see most often, and the rare ones too. After that, we'll dive into those tricky negative questions, and finally, we'll wrap it all up with a quick recap. 5 simple steps to get you ready.
Okay, let's jump in. First things first, we need to get our heads around the one fundamental rule that applies to pretty much every single question you're going to see in verbal reasoning.
And here it is. I call it the golden rule. You are not looking for the most clever answer. You're not looking for what's probably true in the real world. You are only, and I mean only, looking for the one statement that is directly backed up by the words in the passage. That's the entire game.
So let's see how this golden rule plays out with the question formats you're going to see over and over again. If you can get these 4 down, you're going to be set for the majority of the test.
All right, first up, when a question gives you a beautiful gift, like a capitalized name, a specific date, or a weird noun, use it. Think of it like a laser pointer. You don't read, you scan. Find that word, read the sentence it's in, maybe the one before and after, and boom, the answer will be right there. It's a surgical strike.
But what happens if the question is super vague? Like, which of the following can be inferred? No keywords? Well, in that case, we just flip the script. We work backwards from the answers. Grab a keyword from answer A and hunt for it in the passage. If you find support, awesome, you're done. If not, ditch it and move on to B.
You'll also bump into these questions that are basically just half-finished sentences. The great news? These almost always contain a useful keyword in the first part. So it's the same deal. You just use that keyword scanning technique we just talked about to find the part of the text that logically finishes the thought.
Now and then, the UCAT is going to throw you a curveball, a question format you haven't seen in a while. The key here is not to panic. Knowing how to deal with these keeps you calm and saves you precious seconds.
And here's the thing about most of these rare questions, the strategy is exactly the same. You still have to follow the golden rule. Your answer has to come from the passage. Please, please do not use your own outside knowledge or what you think a word means. It's all about what the passage says.
Okay, now for the one big exception to the rule, summing up questions. For these, you can't just look at one little detail. You have to understand the main idea, the big picture of what the author's trying to say.
You don't have time to reread the whole passage, so here's the trick. You can either save this question for last, so you already have a feel for the text, or, even faster, just get a quick read on the author's tone. Are they for something, against it, or are they just neutral?
And you can figure that out just by spotting clue words. If you see words like effective or groundbreaking, you know the tone is positive. If you see wasteful or outdated, it's negative. Once you know the tone, you can immediately eliminate any answer choices that don't match. It's a huge shortcut.
Okay, take a deep breath. This next part is so important. We're about to tackle the questions that are designed to mess with your head by flipping all the rules we've just learned completely upside down.
So check this out. For a normal question, you're hunting for the one true statement. That's your answer. But for a negative question, everything is reversed. The 3 true statements, those are now the wrong answers. The one you're looking for is the one that's either false or just isn't mentioned.
So your strategy here is actually pretty simple. You become a fact finder. Your job is to find the 3 answer choices that are supported by the text and cross them out. The one that's left floating all by itself, that's your correct answer.
And the best part is, it doesn't matter what the negative word is. Whether you see except or not or least, it's all a signal to do the exact same thing. Find the 3 true statements, get rid of them, and pick the one that's left.
Amazing work. We have covered so much ground. So let's just boil it all down with a final recap of the key strategies you need to carry with you into the exam.
These are your 4 pillars. First, always scan for keywords. Don't just read aimlessly.
Second, for those big picture questions, use the author's tone as your shortcut. Third, when you see a negative word, flip your brain into elimination mode. And finally, the most important rule of all, stick to the passage. The answer is always in there.
Okay, so knowing all this is a fantastic first step. But to get really good, to get fast, you have to practice applying these strategies under the pressure of the clock.
And to help you do exactly that, I've loaded the EduRev app with everything you'll need. Tons of practice questions and full-time sections so you can really sharpen these skills.
So go ahead and download it right now from the Play Store or the iOS App Store. Let's start putting this theory into practice and get you completely ready to crush the UCAT. You've got this.